Blackmagic Intensity Capture Card Tutorial Part 3, and this video is all about installing and using the software and drivers that you need to be able to start capturing with the capture cards. And whether or not you are using the Shuttle or the Intensity Pro, most of the time your operating system is going to ask you for the drivers for whichever one you're using. It's not going to find it, so cancel out of those windows or tell it not to look for them or say you'll find them or whatever. When you are ready to start downloading and installing them, open up your internet browser and go to www.blackmagicdesign.com. Click on the support tab. Choose your operating system. I'm using Windows 7. Your product series, which in this case is Intensity. And the product, either the Pro or the Shuttle. And I'm going to be using the Shuttle, but from this point on it's pretty much the same thing. Now, whether you are using the Pro or the Shuttle, just click Download Desktop Video for Windows and the manual if you want. And register your software if you want to. You don't have to, but I would recommend it, but it's up to you. Or just download your software. Now, if for whatever reason the drivers don't work, the latest drivers don't work, go to Archive Drivers and download the previous version from the latest version, and if that doesn't work, try the one before that, and if that doesn't work, you'll probably want to ask Blackmagic why nothing's working. So when the file does download, you will need to unzip the folder using WinZip, WinRAR, or 7-zip, whatever it is you have, and then open up the unzipped folder. Then you will want to install this file right here. This will take a little while to install. Mine's already installed, so I'm not going to try to reinstall it, and if I did uninstall the file then installed it again, I would have to restart my computer, so I'm not going to go through any of that. But anyway, install the file, then restart your computer, and your hardware will probably need a firmware upgrade. Upgrade the firmware and you'll be good to go. Now, if you're using the Intensity Shuttle, keep watching. If you're using the Intensity Pro, skip ahead to the time on the screen. For the Shuttle, you need the latest USB 3.0 drivers on your computer, and the drivers need to be version 2.0.4.0 or later, and firmware version 3.0.2.5 or later. To see which version you have, search USB in your search and find the host controller utility. Now, I have two cards, but number one is my onboard motherboard one, and that's mainly the one that you want to pay attention to. Most of you will probably only have one controller card, and as you can see, I have driver version 2.1.16.0 and the good enough firmware version. If you don't have those versions, you need to go to this website, stationdrivers.com/page/rensas.htm. The link to that will be in the description. And then you need to download the latest firmware version for the drivers. Now, mine are like the whole one, mine's way behind, but I'll update it later. That's not the point though. You need to download the latest one. And then check your controller utility again and make sure it did actually update. You may require a restart, but that's fine. So whether or not you are using the Shuttle or the Pro, this point onward will be pretty much the same. And when you have your Intensity Shuttle plugged in or your Intensity Pro plugged in, which the Pro will always be plugged in, you go to Programs and search Control. Open up the Blackmagic Design Control panel, and for the outputs, you need to set the outputs to what you're using. You only have to set this on the Intensity Pro, and maybe after some update you don't have to, but I'm using the Intensity Shuttle right now. So right now, for the Shuttle, it doesn't matter. You don't have to set the outputs because all outputs are active, but for the Pro, you will have to set the output you were using, whether it's HDMI or component. Same thing for the input. Choose the input you're using, HDMI or component. I'm using the component. So at this point, as long as all of your cables are plugged in correctly, then you shouldn't have any problems for this next part, which is to open up Blackmagic Media Express. And right now you will want to turn on your Xbox or your PlayStation or whatever you're using so you can see if it's showing up or not. So turn on your console and then go to Start, Blackmagic Design, Media Express, and open Blackmagic Media Express, which may take a second depending on your computer. And if you're on an SSD hard drive thing, it'll take half a second. But anyway, once this opens up, and this is the new updated Media Express, which I really like, but besides that, click on the Log and Capture tab, and mine appears right away, which is because everything's set up correctly, obviously. You'll also want to turn on your TV and make sure that the signal is getting put through to your TV and you can see this on your TV. That means the outputs and the inputs are working and everything is good. I'm just going to turn my TV on really quickly, and there it is. Okay. Now if it doesn't show up, first what you need to do is go into your Xbox or PlayStation settings and set the video resolution to 720p or 1080i. I'll show you really quick how to do that for the Xbox. Just if you're on the PlayStation, you can kind of get the basic idea. You go to the system settings, console settings, display, HD TV settings, 720p or 1080i. Has to be one of those two. Kicked my desk there. Now if I were you, I would set it to 720p just to make sure there are no failures anywhere, and because it's the lowest resolution for the most part. But for the next step, you want to go to Edit Preferences, and for the video project format, switch it to 720p 59.94. Now if you see, I'm going to switch it to 50. It's not going to show up. I don't know why it has to be set to 59.94 exactly, but that's just what it is, and it should show up on that if you're using 720p or 1080i. If you're going to be using 1080i, do 1080i 59.94. If it doesn't show up on 59.94, try 50, try 60, and if that still doesn't show up, then check all the previous steps that I went through before. When you are ready to start capturing, the capture file format, set that to AVI Motion JPEG. The other ones are, well, that one I have no idea what it does, and these two are 100% compressed video, which means, because my hard drive is really slow, the video is going to be incredibly choppy, the audio is going to be unsynced, but that will all be fixed if you switch it to AVI Motion JPEG. This format has no problems. Now if you have any problems with this format, you probably need to consider upgrading your computer, or just go through and upgrade your drivers and then see if it fixes it. But if it doesn't, you probably need a new computer. For this checkbox, you can keep that checked if you want. It doesn't really matter. You can switch the audio and the still frames, the video and the audio, and the still frame location. Mine is set to the desktop for now. For these two boxes, these are checked by default. Uncheck these because consoles have a horrible tendency to drop frames all the time. And if these are checked, it's going to stop the capture and the playback every single time that a frame is dropped, and nobody wants that. That you can leave checked or unchecked if you want. Doesn't really do anything if you're using 16:9 for the input. And for the continue playback one in the background, again, that one you'll really have to decide. It just means you can open up other stuff while it's recording, and it'll keep going and recording in the background, but that's up to you. So then click OK. Then when you are ready to capture and everything shows up, and remember it has to be on the capture tab, this throws off a lot of people, then you just click the capture down here, and then it will start capturing to your disk. Now it'll seem like nothing is happening, but it actually is capturing, and it will all be in one file. And if I were you, I would let this run for about a minute or two and then watch that. Make sure the sound is synchronized, the sound isn't off, the video isn't choppy, and everything's good. The reason for that is because for somewhat slow computers, the first 30 seconds are going to be fine, and some people record like 10-second clips and it's all good. Then they record a 10-minute game of them playing Call of Duty or Halo or something, and it's all choppy by the end of, when it hits 2 minutes, the video and the audio just go pooh. So leave it recording for a little while, and if you have the time and the hard drive space, you need to, I would recommend recording for like an hour or 30 minutes. Just click record and walk off and watch the video and see where it starts to mess up, because a lot of computers can record for 20 minutes without any problems. A lot of other computers can record for an hour without any problems. Some can only record for like 12 minutes without any problems. It really depends on your computer. And of course some people can record forever without any problems, so you just need to see what's best for you. But when you are ready to stop capturing, just click capture again, and then you'll need to give it a second for the video to appear here. And that may take a long time or a short time depending on your computer speed and depending on how long you've been using the Media Express on that day. If you want to take a snapshot of your screen, just click that and it will send a snapshot to wherever you told it to. Right here's my snapshot, right here is my video. Then when you want to remove this, you just click it and press delete, and it does not delete it from your hard drive, but it will get rid of it from this, so you can edit it, rename it, do whatever. So that's the basics for recording with Blackmagic Intensity capture cards. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer, but a lot of the time I will tell you to ask Blackmagic support themselves because they know their stuff more than I ever will and more than I ever care to know. So again, if you have any questions, ask me, I'll do my best, but other than that, I hope this helped a lot of people who want to get capturing in HD, and thank you for watching.